Yeah, I guess that kind of goes with the topic.
You're talking about the wrong person here. You're threatening the wrong person with that.
Volunteer.
Do we have the Estem handy? We've started, but do we have the Estem handy?
Like on this table, is that easier for you? To, like,
hold it.
No, she can pull it over when we talk about it. That's fine. That way they're not like distracted. They're like, you started and you're just talking about stuff? Oh, that doesn't look good. See, I gotta fix that. We're just starting out, you guys, you know. The trickiness of live.
And getting the right framing. We can just be like...
Because Instagram, you see how it's smaller?
Yeah.
Facebook's wider, or my iPhone's wider than the Android, I don't know. Anyway, everyone's like, is this a show? What's going on? Come on. Oh, this is off. Helps if my mouse is on.
I was like, why is there water there? She's like, oh, to drink. And I was like, oh, because I'm not putting anything electric in water.
I just don't want to be able to like hear the dehydration.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, they've been talking about this a lot. So thank you guys for watching and listening to the Last Call Entertainment Podcast, where we bring you entertaining things so you can go outside and you can stay inside. We're at Blue Boutique in Ogden, and they have some great stuff to share with us today. They've got beautiful lingerie, toys, games, right? You have games like sex games and stuff, right? We can say the word sex, too.
Okay.
We can swear a little bit. And we have a live studio audience today.
Woo!
Supposed to clap when I say that. Clap. You too, Faith? And we're live here in Ogden, and we're going to be talking about...
we're going to be talking about erotic electrical stimulation today, which is really...
Which is also called Estem, right?
Yeah.
Estem.
Erotic Estem, for short. If you're like me and have a hard time saying long words, then yeah, it's Estem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Estem, yeah. Well, some people don't know what DIY is.
That's true.
You know?
Is it do it yourself?
Yeah.
Right. People say DIY. I'm like, why don't you just say do it yourself?
Right.
Why don't you just say
are
that?
coming up with like all kinds of stuff too. Like, I mean, I know what IDK is. I know that
What's
one.
IDK?
Yeah, but
It's like I don't know. I think.
Oh.
But there are certain
Or like
words
WYA,
that like...
I found out that was where you at, which isn't even like grammatically correct to start with.
There are things I thought I was with the kids, but I guess I'm not with the kids anymore.
Yeah.
Not with
change
shit
it.
anymore.
No.
I have a couple young friends, and they will use stuff, and sometimes I just ask them.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go, because I want to look cool, I copy, paste.
Urban Dictionary.
Text, yeah. Oh, okay. Now I know what you mean. No. Or then I answer.
Look at young people translate for like their
Yeah. It's good. It's good to add some of that to your
Google, where are
language,
you
for
at?
sure.
We need a young person
I know,
translator.
right?
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your why are you here at Blue Boutique?
Okay, my name's Kat. I'm the current assistant manager here at the Ogden location.
Are you leaving like soon after this podcast?
I'm actually
She's currently, but it might be short-lived. These are the jokes I was talking about.
We're close at 10. She'll be leaving then.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'll just be gone forever. Actually, I'm someone they kidnapped off the street. I don't actually work here. But I've been with the...
I have a homeless guy that makes my flyers for me too, actually.
Does he
Oh,
put
that's
them up
actually
too?
pretty sick.
What's
That's
that?
Does
cool.
he put them up too, or does he just make them?
No, I post them, but he makes them for me, but I have to look all over the place to find them in the morning.
Oh.
Because he moves around.
Oh.
You know?
I mean, well,
Okay. All right.
sometimes we move products people buy more, so hey, maybe it's working.
I'm just saying. I don't. But I've been with the company for about 4 years, and it's been pretty interesting. Lots of people that are interesting. But you know, I've been part of the company because I like this. I don't know if it's good to say I like the sex world, but I like the educational
Well, if you
part.
work in a place that offers new sexual opportunities for people, it might be actually good that you enjoy it, right?
Well, I think not even that,
I wouldn't
right?
ask that question if I really thought you were going to say, I hate it here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It sucks. I don't even know why I'm in this podcast.
Right.
I don't know why either.
Well, I think like so much of the time, like we think about stores like this, and it really is just like a sex store, right? And like people come in and like they associate all of this stuff with like just sex and like sexuality, and like that's what it is. But at the end of the day, I think for some of us that work here, like we are so much more than just people advising you on like what kind of dildo to get. Like we have people come in who are couples who've been married for 20 years and they're just having issues, and like we get to help them. And like to be asked to come into that vulnerable space with people is like, that is the important work. We're helping people connect, and like more than just sex, like that's pretty cool.
I don't
That's
think
great.
I don't
That's
think
great.
a lot of people realize that sexuality is more than just pleasure. It's you're connecting with yourself. It's a kind of like a version of therapy in a way, and it helps you get to know who you are. And it doesn't matter. Like
What if you don't like who you are after that?
I mean,
Oh, that was dirty. Why did I do that?
I mean, that's why they make therapy, right?
Yeah, like therapists are great.
That's why they get paid all that money. But I think that that it's a great way to get to know yourself. And also, we have kids that are like 21 that come in, and we have people that are in their 90s that come in. So it's
90s, really?
yeah, oh yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And sometimes they're into some pretty freaky things.
They're
but
always my favorite.
Well,
they're
by
my
the time
favorite.
you're 90, you might have to be into
Right,
freaky
yeah.
stuff. I've tried everything else. Let me try this.
Well, and like also like this industry and like Blue Boutique in particular, we have so much like we're very accessible for a lot of different diversity, right? So we have toys and stuff that are like good for people with like limited mobility, right? Because not everyone has the ability to have all 4 limbs, right? And so you know,
we
some
forget about that because our perspective,
yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Like I see someone, oh, he has no legs, and
100%.
my friend was saying, what did he say? Well, look at all the attention he's getting. I'm like, dude, he still has no legs.
Right.
we're like, he was joking around, but he was like, saying like, well, look, he's got something out of it. And I'm like, yeah, but still, I'm sure he'd rather have legs. you know?
True.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Sure, we could only assume. But yeah, a lot of like inclusivity here too, which is something that I like as an employee here like definitely appreciate.
Well, it's also we're different than a lot of other stores that are similar to us because of that inclusivity, and it's important to everybody.
What do you
on the
mean by
team.
inclusivity?
We're all from different walks of life, so we understand certain things, but also like anybody can walk in here and,
okay.
and they can feel safe and comfortable. And I've been to other places where that's not like that, and it's great that everybody that works at each store comes from a different kind of life. They're all different, so we have the ability to connect with each other and with other people, which I think is different than a lot of other places like us.
Do you think there'd be more love and peace in the world if there wasn't as much sexual repression
Oh yeah.
in general? Because I sometimes feel uncomfortable just buying condoms because
Right.
someone will make not so much. Sometimes I go, yep, I'm having sex.
Right. And it kind of is like this weird uncomfortability,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
There's
but
like
sometimes
this
people
stigma
go,
that we've
I've
sort
seen
of
people
built up
kind of
around
go,
it.
extra
Right.
small, huh? Okay. Well. It's
You're not buying the
embarrassing.
magnums?
Yeah.
Well, I think the same thing sort of like even expands out to like our boyfriends buying tampons for us, right? Like
Right.
it's all just this stigma around sexual health and sexual well-being. And I think the more that we can sort of like actively break down that stigma and sort of have the conversation about these different things and really break down that it's not necessarily what you think. This isn't just a one-track industry. I think that's sort of where we can progress in that area that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So how's the sound, Julie?
So you're good on the podcast. It's just a little low for the Blue Boutique side.
Just
On that. Okay.
yell
okay,
a little
great.
bit more. Okay.
So,
Scream. Gusto.
yeah, so for that one, that's why we have to talk in a loud voice.
Okay.
Julie like screams at me like right after a podcast. I am exaggerating a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that makes sense because when you said the sound, I was like, oh no, not this again.
Just with not having the speakers here.
Oh yeah, no,
Okay.
I know, I get it now. So for that one, we need to raise our voice a little bit.
All right. Well, you and I
too,
are loud
you
and
too.
obnoxious, so I think it'll be okay.
Um,
Your air conditioning.
Oh,
Do you want me to turn it
do we
off?
need to turn it off?
yeah, can you turn
Okay.
it down? Actually,
It get hot in here real quick.
well,
It
that's why I said turn it
gets
down,
sauna-y.
not off.
I don't.
For 20 minutes, it might work. Okay.
Yeah, it's just on this wall underneath
See,
all
I
the
told you,
wigs.
just flow with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
heck yeah. I mean, I'm already sweaty, so it's
I
not
know,
like
me
being
too.
hot
I'm
or
already,
anything
like-
change
It's not like I'm
anything.
wearing. It's not
Right,
like I'm
we're
wearing.
like
Right?
full on like
Yeah.
suit jacket. Is that wool? Let's see.
No, that's
that would
not
be
wool.
super hot.
Yeah, that would suck. Thank you.
Terrible.
It's a good color.
Yeah, it's a good color on you.
Thanks. So tell us a little bit about Estem.
Okay, so I actually have notes.
Electronics, sexual.
I don't know why I
Can
put
you help me
it
with
down.
that? It's okay. You could put it here
Okay.
too. It's okay.
All right.
Notes.
So
I need to have notes more often because I'm always like, okay, what was I gonna say?
I have like the memory of a goldfish sometimes, and
Remember, goldfish have good
they have really bad memories.
Really bad memories?
Yeah, and so like I was talking to them about how when the camera turned on, I'd probably forget every single thing in my brain. So basically, Estem is also used in PT or physical therapy for like pain and injury and stuff. But then someone realized that, oh, this is also really fun sexually. I want to know who did that, who was like, I'm going to shock my vulva, basically.
I'm gonna shake their hand.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, wait. Vulva, shake their hand. Is that just a term?
Well, no, so
Or-
I just mean like they deserve a very congratulatory handshake because this kind of technology is incredible.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
It's been
I was
around
like,
since-
wait, is that
Yeah,
like
no, I
is
just
that
wanna
like
shake their
those
hand.
things
Right,
we were
it's
talking
right,
about?
good
Is
job.
that like code? Yeah. Shake their hand.
Shake
that
hands with
means
my
shock the
vulva.
vulva.
What does that
Vulva.
mean?
Oh, it's like a weird way of saying.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it now.
Like the
Wait,
twerking
I
butt
need
that
to
like
learn
winks
that.
at you.
Oh,
so,
right. Right.
Hey, there you
It's
go.
like,
We
yeah.
can patent that technology
Yeah.
right there.
But it's been around actually since the 1950s. So it's been
really?
around for a really long time. It's probably been around longer than that, but that's when it started to come into fruition.
Okay.
But basically all it is really is you're applying electricity to your nerve endings or your erogenous zones or your genitals to create stimulation through the nerve endings. And it's usually used with a TENS unit or a violet wand, which is really exciting. I
Is that what
prefer...
this is here?
Yeah, so this one
And
right
you said
here...
violent one?
Violet.
Oh, violet. I was like,
I can
violent?
understand how you heard that with a
Yeah.
violent wand.
I was like, huh.
But basically, so this is what a violet wand is. I don't know if you can see it from that far. If you want to, thank you.
Yeah, that's why it helps. It's backwards,
Yeah.
though, but yeah.
And we can take it out in a minute. But basically, it's an electrostatic. It's used with electrostatic, like electricity. Because you have two different kinds. You've got a TENS unit which uses pulse electricity, and this one uses
Yeah,
electrostatic
what's this for? It
electricity.
looks like a comb.
It does. So this is, it's a lot of info, but basically they're a high frequency thing, so you can actually use it to comb through your hair to help stimulate hair growth, which is actually what I use mine for, is for hair growth and skincare more than anything else.
I need to get some of that.
Yeah.
That's why I'll buy this for my hair.
Hair, yeah.
Throat game failing you there?
Not exactly. But as you get older, your hair does thin.
It's okay. I understand. I
It's
just
fair.
did waxing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, basically, I just waxed all the hair out of my body so it just doesn't grow back. But that was more
Oh, but
intentional.
I want to go opposite of that.
Oh, I'm assuming yours wasn't intentional then.
No.
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Or you can have a broken body where your hair just falls out. So
That's
like,
a thing too.
Yeah, things do happen, right?
Yeah. But yeah, it's. I lost my train of thought, but yeah.
So basically, I think definitely something to point out with this is that
Yeah.
this pack in particular, because there's two, there's the obsidian one back there
Yeah.
as well. Basically, there's 4 different heads, which are just going to create like a sort of different sensation, right? So the rake one, the one that you're talking about, sort of that more combing one, definitely going to have like a broader sort of sensation pattern to it because there's just more space. They have like this sort of very pinpointed one here. I imagine
It
that one
looks
would be
like-
really great for like clitoral
Yeah,
stimulation.
and nipples.
Hold it, like, a little
maybe
closer.
if you use it on the nipples.
There is another one in there. It's the one on the front there. It's more of like a bulb sort of
This one?
pinpoint. Yeah, that one there.
Oh, it looks like a little toy. I know it's a
yeah,
toy, but
yeah,
it looks
yeah.
like a little zapper toy.
Well, and so for people who are like, what is this? What does this even look like when you're using it? If you ever went to like a science center when you were a child, they have like the globes and you would, like
plasma
put your
ball.
finger on it. And,
Yeah.
like,
it looks just like
it's
that.
essentially that.
A lot of 90s kids
And
will know
then
what a
what does
plasma ball
that
is.
do exactly? Like, you explained it, but what does it feel like?
To me,
general.
it feels like on the lowest setting, it feels like tickling or tingling, and then on the highest setting, it feels like maybe snapping a rubber band on your wrist. I have a really high pain tolerance, though, so for me, it doesn't hurt, but for other people, it might. So that would lead me into. It's always good to have consent with your partner. You never want to just be like, "Hey, I'm shocking you.
pull
Here
it
you go."
out. Yeah, that's good.
You want to ask them. There's a pain scale of 5 for someone, could be an 8 for someone else. So
True,
it's
true.
like,
Well, that's in general.
Yeah, right.
With love making in general.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've been with someone, fight hard, too hard, talk dirty, too dirty, or and like,
Right.
like it just, you have to kind of from my experience, you have to kind of dance with a person and
Yeah,
find out what they
Right.
like.
And have that
Tango for a
conversation.
reason, you know? Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good to have that conversation.
So, Kat, what kind of person do you think that this sort of like, if someone is new and they are, and you're like, who would you sell this product to? Like, what kind of person do you think this really speaks to?
A lot of times we get a lot of people who have like used vibration toys and suction toys and other toys, and they're like, I want something new. I usually go to Estem, one, because I love it so much that I want everybody to do it, but also because it's going to give a kind of orgasm that a lot of people have never had before, because if you use this, it's using electricity to stimulate the nerves. If you're using a TENS unit, you're using it to stimulate, like make the muscles contract, which is what happens when you climax. So usually those are the people I go to. Or say, the reason I got into this was because, I hope my mom doesn't get mad at me for saying this, but she's got
Is your mom watching right now?
Yeah, she works at the Sugar House location.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, permission.
She's got menopause, and so sometimes sensitivity is an issue, and this is actually fabulous for someone who's menopause. One, because a violet one can oxygenate or the skin to help mucous membranes, but also it can help with sensitivity. So it's great for you if you have sensitivity issues or if you want to try something new. So really, I'd suggest it to anybody.
Could this be good for someone that has like nerve damage, because it is like nerve stimulating?
Yeah, so I actually looked into it because I don't want to just say it, but this is great for someone who had their prostate removed. Because like it's removed, they're not going to get that same amount of orgasm. But something like, say, this electroshock prostate massager one, it would be perfect for someone who's never had, like, who doesn't have a prostate anymore, because they can still experience an orgasm as if they did with electrical stimulation.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually
That's great.
really awesome for men, because it'll give them, a lot of men don't want to do prostate stimulation, but it'll change their life, especially if they try it with something like this.
Untapped resource.
For real though, it's like a G-spot for a guy. It's just like, it's not weird if you stimulate it, because it'll change your life.
Well,
I've been told. I don't have
sometimes
one.
people are
but-
afraid of changing their life.
True,
right?
very true.
And what does that open the door to? And they might not necessarily want to open the door, or they might want to. I mean, that's a whole conversation.
Well, and I think there's also sort of that like undereducation about it too, right? Like, because I think there's like this very strong reaction with straight men in particular, where they hear things about stimulating the prostate and like, oh, that's gay, which by the way is
my
very
gosh.
derogatory too. But you know, more than just the pleasure aspect of it, like I say to all my male friends, like, do you want to be Hugh Hefner? Do you want to have a boner when you're 80? If they take your prostate out because you get prostate cancer, you're not going to be Hugh Hefner.
You're not.
So, you know, if you want to keep being the young buck that you are at 80 years old without Viagra, get a prostate massager, y'all. PSA.
Well, you have 90-year-olds
Yeah.
coming in here.
Yes.
Coming over
And they
here.
still have their prostates because they knew what was up.
Yeah, and the amount of them that have told me, been like, you need to tell everybody to do this. And I'm like, I'm trying.
It's just a health thing.
Yeah.
If that's more palatable for y'all, it's just a health thing.
Yeah, true. We
Yeah.
talked about that last week too, and the week before a little bit. Did you talk about this one at all?
So this one is, I believe, it's the Kegel ball that uses electrical stimulation by Cal
okay.
Exotics. This is actually the ideal way to do your Kegels.
Can you explain what that is for people
So,
that don't know?
Kegling is basically exercising your pelvic floor and your vaginal muscles. It's really great for people who maybe have overactive bladders, like I do, or maybe someone who, people talk about getting tighter, and what they don't know is the vagina goes back to its original shape. But whatever, it's usually a lot of male culture that tells women that they need to be tighter. So this is a great way to do that safely without introducing stuff into your body that you shouldn't. Electrical stimulation is the best way to do it because it's making your muscles contract in a way that something weighted or vibration ever could. So usually, if someone wants to Kegel, this is usually the first one I go to, because it's going to give them the results faster, safer, and it's probably going to give them some pleasure at the same time. So it's like exercise and pleasure.
We have someone that's
have a
like,
question.
hey. Oh, a question, okay.
So would the impulse be something that would be good for somebody who has just transitioned from male to female to really practice using those muscles?
I looked into that, and I couldn't find anything solid about electrical stimulation and maybe someone who's got transitioned, but I would think it would help a lot, especially like it's supposed to, it does. See,
yeah.
I couldn't.
Well, maybe you should answer the question for us then.
Well, no, because I'm not the expert, but yeah, Yeah, no,
Yeah?
absolutely. We're teaching them to use those muscles, right?
Right.
In an area that they've never had before. So absolutely.
It makes so much sense.
They do need to be fully healed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's saying, in case you guys can't hear, is that it does actually help if you've done a transition surgery, but you have to be fully healed by then because it helps you use the muscles you might have not used before. Is that correct? Good.
Also,
Good.
teaching them how to achieve an orgasm through internal play too. Because
awesome.
it does that contracting that
Interesting.
Kat talked about before.
That's awesome. That's actually something I didn't know. So that's really cool. What's also good to remember is like, I don't know everything about this. So it's good to have someone educate you as well. Because we don't know everything about everything. So like, I didn't know that and now I do, so I can share that with other people.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great.
That's the beauty of Blue Boutique.
Exactly,
because we
yeah.
have different experiences, and the only reason I know that is because I have guests who are transitioning, so they've spoken to their doctors about it. And
What would you suggest for someone if they wanted to try this out? What would be a good starter? A way to start out?
I usually suggest a violet wand because it's
Violet. That's violet, not
violet
violent.
wand.
Violet.
They are a low current, high voltage, high frequency device that it's really, you would really have to intentionally hurt yourself, like stab yourself with it to hurt yourself with it, because actually estheticians use a version. They use a
Virgin
version.
sacrifices.
They use a version of a neon wand or a violet wand to actually for skin. So it's actually really gentle. But I also tell people it depends on how much you're using it. So if you're not going to use a violet wand very often or like not do a lot of electrical stimulation often, a wand is probably better because it's low maintenance. You don't really have to do much to clean it. A TENS unit, on the other hand, is more for people who are more heavy into it, who know what they're doing, who do it all the time.
Which one was that?
A TENS unit, we don't have one,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Do you carry them normally?
We do, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does that do? The
So
Tanzania?
that one usually uses like a sticky pad that you stick onto your skin, and instead of using like electricity to jump from the electrode to the skin, it uses pulses to make the muscles.
So I don't think you can necessarily go take those workout things that they use to stimulate muscles and throw that on your genitals or anything. Area,
I mean, we're not the
nipples.
gatekeepers. We're not saying you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, I suggest you don't.
Why would that be an unwise thing to do?
So-
and I don't know I mean, I'm
No, you're good. There is an answer.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's not a good idea. Like, if I don't need to go on those, I'll just take these
But
6-pack
hey,
No, it's
abs
okay.
and-
if that's working for you, go for it.
I've been asked that too. I have a TENS unit at home, I'll just do this. But you have your TENS units for PT or physical therapy, and then you have your made for play units, which are body safe to use on the genital areas. So there is a small difference, but there really isn't that huge of a difference. But I would feel more safe using something that's made
using
for
the
it
proper tool for
versus
the
something
proper
that
reason would be a good idea.
yeah, like
probably.
use it for what it's intended for, basically.
that makes
yeah.
sense. It makes a lot of
Like,
sense,
move
actually.
too much and
Well, and also if
Hit
you're
you in
like
the face.
if you're like wanting to MacGyver your own situation here, I think it's very important to keep in mind what is being triggered, right? Because with the neon wand, it's nerves that are being triggered. With the TENS units, it's muscles that are being
Right.
triggered, right? So like definitely keep that in mind as well, because stimulating a clitoris with a neon wand, which is that nerve stimulation, is definitely not going to feel as pleasurable with a 10 unit. We're thinking like an EKG sticker, electrode
right.
type deal. That's not what we want. Thank you.
Which actually, that makes a good point when you said like MacGyver or DIY. That brings me to a good point, which is basically don't make your own unit out of things that aren't.
Oh,
So
you
there
make
was-
your own. That sounds really
DIY.
good. Oh, yeah,
Don't
that's
DIY.
Okay. That's okay.
So-
I heard the DIY. I'm like,
Jumper
oh, yeah,
cables.
you
Yeah.
like
Oh God.
that? Yeah.
20 volts straight to the nips.
Makes my whole body.
I'm sure that's been done.
I don't like
I'm
that.
sure that's been done
No.
before.
I mean, we got to
Yeah.
put it in the back.
So there was a guy actually in Pennsylvania that he went to prison for manslaughter because he killed his wife because he tried to make a unit out of a hairdryer, and she died at 29 years old. There was another story of a guy that tried to make a urethral
hairdryer?
sound. Yeah, he tried to make a electrified urethral sound, which is just like something you put in the male urethra. he melted his urethra closed around it, and he had to go to the hospital to get it removed. So it's like it's not electrical stimulation isn't like something to play with. It's not something that you're just like, I'm gonna do that, because it can kill you if you don't do it correctly. Right. So I usually tell people, do your research. You need to know the differences between both units, all the units, and please don't shock yourself with like electrical like fly swatters. Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
We have electric floggers, y'all. You don't need to go out to Home
Please
Depot.
don't do that.
Electric flogger.
And the amount of people, I've been told by so many people that they do that. And I'm like,
really?
when they tell me that, my soul leaves my body. I'm like, oh God, no, please don't. Yeah.
Or you can even go to, what do you call those? Stun gun.
Yeah, yeah.
The cow prodder thing?
Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale, they use those in there.
You took it like, we know what level you like, because you're going to cow
No, listen, I don't like to do that to myself. I'm more of like a do
someone
it to
else.
other
Oh, you do
Right,
other
right,
people?
right.
Yeah, that's more my fave, yeah.
You ask permission first.
Totally, all consensual, but I will beat you consensually type thing.
Consensual beating.
Consensual beating.
So tell us about
right.
what kind of lube you should use with these devices.
So will you hand me the lube over there? I actually grabbed a lube as an example.
Why you should use...
So you always want to use a water-based lubricant. I'm not long enough. You want to use a water-based lubricant because it's the safest. It's best to use with both a TENS unit and a violet wand to just make it so you don't get burned. You don't want to use a silicone because silicone's an insulator, so that's actually going to really shock you and burn you. And you don't want to use oil-based because if you think about it, we're like bacon. We cook. If you use oil, we're
That's
gonna cook.
interesting.
I've never heard anyone say that. That's fantastic.
It is. We're meat, and oil and heat makes you cook. So you always put just a water-based lubricant. Some units do come with like a water-based gel.
Water-based, no oil.
No.
But we're talking about not oil, silicone.
No silicone.
Right?
no oil,
Silicone.
yeah.
Some units come with a gel, but if you have sensitive skin like me, it might irritate your skin. So I just go with a tried and true water base that doesn't irritate the vulva because it won't irritate any other skin.
I feel like I definitely relate to that bacon comment.
Yeah.
Like, I think if I was any slice of meat, like, I would definitely be a crisp piece of bacon.
Yeah.
Why bacon though?
Because, I'm very likable. People really like me. I mean, who doesn't like bacon, you know? Freaks. I love freaks.
I don't like bacon.
I mean,
Thank you all for the podcast.
that's where she draws the line.
Well, my parents are Muslim, and I'm not. But
Okay.
I kind of followed that. See, I don't eat pork really. I mean, I'll eat some pepperoni.
Well, bacon is the only
I'm not
pork I'll
crazy
eat,
about
too.
it.
I'm weird about it, too.
Well, I don't really like it. I've
Like a
tasted
pork
it.
chop,
It tastes
like,
funny to
why?
me.
Why do we need a whole pork chop? I just need bacon. That's all I want.
Right.
I like it mixed with some sausage, right?
Yeah. Oh, I do like this
See-
bacon round chicken with like a cream cheese filling. Incredible.
That sounds good. I don't like sausage. I don't.
That's just a general statement for you. I think.
Yes, it's just a whole, just in general as a person.
That's funny. funny.
Anyways.
So,
Electrical stimulation.
What else have we
bacon.
not said about this?
It's a good question. Let me just, sift through this
Why
nonchalantly.
do you like working here?
Me? Oh, well, how much time do you have? I don't know.
We have well, now that you said that, 30 seconds. No, a minute.
I don't know. I mean, I really like working here. The lingerie side in particular is something that we don't often talk about. But
The store is full of it.
Right. And
In a good way. Not full of it. Full of lingerie.
So
I
much.
have all kinds of styles and sizes, which
Yes.
I also love.
Yeah, we have really inclusive sizing. I think our bras go up to J, right?
Yeah, we actually, I think we go up to I. Is I?
I think we go to I. A, B, C, D, E.
I was like, I can't remember
should
my own
remember- we
Okay,
alphabet.
no, J is after I.
Okay, yeah,
Anyways,
it goes
but
up
we
to
have
J.
like really inclusive sizing, and like one of the things that I love doing here the most is we have like a huge array of customers that come in here, right? And so my favorite ones are the women specifically that come in looking for a piece of lingerie, and there's this moment when you find the right piece for them, when it's like the light bulb goes off,
best.
and you see them look in the mirror, and they light up, and it's instantly like. You see them step into that power that they were always meant to be in. And like for me, I think that's why I do this, right? Because like I'm helping people connect and I'm helping people step into their power that they were always meant to be
Yeah.
Oh,
in.
nice.
So
As someone who I'm a plus size person, and finding lingerie for me is like pulling teeth, basically. So I love helping someone who is in the same shoes find something that makes them feel sexy and beautiful and comfortable, which is also important. I like to say 90% for you, 10% for your partner. Don't get something just because your partner wants you to. but I like that because you're actually changing someone's life when they come in here. They're coming into a safe space where our goal is to make you happy, and that's what we do as much as we can. And she's very good
That's
at
a good
it.
attitude. Because I haven't heard once we want to sell you shit.
No.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I haven't heard that.
Yeah,
you know?
sure. It's part of our job, but I'm more interested in helping someone feel good about themselves and come out with something that's going to be safe for them and make them feel good than getting the money out of it.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you guys for listening and watching.
Live studio audience.
Thanks, friends.
The Last Call Entertainment Podcast, where we talk about ways to entertain yourself, cool places to go to, cool places to shop. Check us out on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Facebook, Instagram, Google Podcasts, anywhere you want to watch anything. This is your host, Adam Tajdian, and thank you guys very much. See you guys later. Thanks.
Bye.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry.
You can clap.
Yeah,
You can clap. Clap away.
Oh, no, with my hands.
Clap away.